Hi, hello, welcome once again to the Big Bold Book Club. I'm Scott Manley Hadley. This is Martin Corrigan.
Hello.
This week we're going to be talking about Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, a 19... Should have checked that before. A 1960 classic. A 1960 classic. Something I want to do later on, I won't do it now, is some self-promotion. We haven't done any of that so far, and I think we need to be a bit, a bit ballsier with that,
A bit baldier.
Bit boldier, exactly. Mine, To Kill a Mockingbird. What's it about?
To Kill a Mockingbird is about... actually, I thought it was going to be about Tom Robinson. Is Tom Robinson the guy who was up in the court on charge and everything? I thought it was going to be about him. It's not. It's about Scout Finch, Atticus Finch's daughter. Atticus Finch is a lawyer in this small sort of Alabama town, and it's pretty much a narration of her life over the span of a few years, I think, really. A year and a half, 2 years, and all of the events that she gets to be part of, what her daily life is. And I think through the eyes of a child, you get to see sort of what the adults are doing. There's a couple of things that make this story really convenient. Is that Scout Finch is incredibly well read because her dad's a lawyer and reads her books all the time. And that makes it kind of convenient. I think that she can very eloquently describe adult situations that are going on. So that's good. It deals with a couple of families that are going around in Macomb County, and the interaction that all these people have. And of course, you've got certain families that are knocking about, but most importantly, the Radleys, who live at the end of the street and pretty much scare all the kids.
Boo Radley in particular, the shut-in.
Is his real name Arthur?
Arthur's real name is Arthur. Arthur Boo Radley.
Arthur Boo Radley. Do they call him Boo because they're scared of him?
They do call him Boo because they're scared of him. Because he's a ghost.
Oh yeah, that's
he's a
what
ghoul.
it is. Okay.
He's a mystery living in the house on the corner.
Dangerous guy.
Yeah, he kind of is, isn't he?
Proves to be.
It's a book that's very famous. It's a one that kids read.
This is another GCSE level book that I didn't get to read because we read Of Mice and Men. I don't know if you remember what you read.
It might have been this. It might have been this, actually.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying it's a great book from the past. Sorry, I completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why they give kids this to read in school is because it talks about a lot of things in a way that it's quite easy to understand. Right? It's not. I think it's famous as a book that's about race, but it's not just about racism and prejudice. It's also about kind of the lies people tell to themselves about what being a good person is.
I think it appears to be about race, but the more and more I'm reading and I'm going through things, it appears that it's all about class. Because even amongst the white families, you've got Atticus' sister who is calling people outright trash. Don't get involved with them. They're bad people. They've got bad breeding. And it's both, it's all sorts of different races of families. So it's I think on the surface it looks like that because of a lot of the language used. But then underneath all that, it's it's because this guy is looked down upon because the Cunninghams, because they paid in potatoes and
for legal
labour
services,
and services, so they get payment. I don't want to say payment in kind because that means something else, but it's they got alternative methods of payment. So yeah, as much as it was about maybe race, but also thought a big backbone of the story was about poverty and classism and stuff like that.
Because so it's this small, I don't know if it's a real town or a fictional town, but it's a small town in Alabama.
It never looked.
It's been there a couple of 100 years at this point.
Founded by generals during the American Civil War, I think it was, who were not encouraging slavery, but
they were on that
definitely
side.
fans
of
it.
Side.
Yeah.
So it's backwards. Everyone's very small C conservative which these days means big R Republican. I think.
I thought you were going to say big R reform. But
I mean, it's
yeah, it was a bit about that, but it was. It's very. What did it say? It's. What's the saying where it's like innocence or from the mouth of babes comes innocence? I think it was. It's like a phrase where like kids are innocent and the way they talk about things isn't like skewed by social norms or anything like that. They're just like,
But I think in particular, right, Scout, who's I think she's between the ages of 6 and 8. I think during the course of the novel, roughly about that.
Already engaged.
Exactly, but she's also. But she is approaching a lot of situations very differently from even her own peers, right? Even her own peers have been indoctrinated into some pretty strong racist language. So Macomb is the kind of town, right, where people will tell you off for saying damn, but will absolutely all say the worst racial slurs you've ever heard.
Oh, a multitude of N words throughout this book. Quick point on that. Brave of any teacher to try and teach this in school.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in my school it was always like passed around the class to read. So like, it was like, right, you pick up on page 10, 20, 30, 40. Some of the language was crazy.
Oh, is it still on syllabuses now? I mean, we're pretty old. I mean, obviously we don't look it. But we're.
You can't see how far back this her lingo goes or how grey it is. But no, I checked. I sent you a list of like the current Northern Ireland reading guidelines for like high school, and this was on it along with Of Mice and Men and things like that. And I was sort of reading it, thinking like, I know what's a sign of the times, and this is the language that was used in the 1920s and 30s whenever this was set. I think it was set then because it referred to some people coming back from the war, the First World War.
Well, so this is like post the Great Depression, right?
Yeah,
so that's why there's even more poverty than there would have been otherwise. But I think it was written at a time when the civil rights struggle was really picking up, and it's exploring that and discussing that, and prejudice, whether it's classism or racism or both combined, which is kind of what it is here, right? It's everyone in this small town wants to think they're better than someone else, and that is pointing in different directions for different reasons.
Yeah, it screams of, instead of building a ladder or a set of steps to hoist yourself up, you're tripping up the other people in front of you to be able to step over them.
Yeah.
And it was, that rang true pretty quickly. I was like, it was not that it was a tough read, but it was like
but it is pretty upsetting, right? It is it's about, so the crime that Atticus Finch is, he's a criminal defense lawyer for a married black man from the community who's been accused of sexual assault. But what it's very clear has happened is that the woman is the victim of. I mean, this is going to get pretty heavy. Maybe we should do a content warning.
Yeah, no, there's a big trigger warning. This will contain themes of sexual assault, violence,
racism, etc.
Fuck, this is a pretty heavy book.
We'll type that up at the start. But so the guy's accused of sexual assault, but what's actually happened is she's been sexually assaulted and beaten by her own father, and the two of them, because this has now been exposed, they just accuse a local man in the community who they think they can pin this on.
Well, they did it in fact because Tom Robinson had been asked into the house by Maya Ewell, and Tom, she alleges that he asked him to help something and then that he assaulted her. Tom maintained that she made an advance to him and he got out of there because in his situation and in his place in life, if he was found to be doing anything like that, he would get lynched.
Which is kind of what ends up happening anyway, right?
And then Mr. Newell, I can't remember his first name, he then beats the crap out of her.
Which he's habitually been doing anyway, right?
Yeah.
And,
Atticus Finch, these are a bit spoilers, but yeah, you probably read this at GCSE level. Atticus Finch points out that Tom Robinson only has one arm, and she's got a black eye on the wrong side of her body. So, like, facing her, it would be, if he was sitting with the left, the right eye's bruised, or her left eye's bruised, so it couldn't have been him. But the father was left-handed, so it was him hitting her. And it was just...
But this is a super racist town. There's constant abuse from other people in the town for Atticus for even taking on this case, which he has to do.
Yes.
Like it's his as
That's
a
his
lawyer,
duty.
it's his duty within the law community there.
Well, actually, we'll go for a quick break here for some advertisements, but when we get back, I want to talk about the court case because I have a couple of bones to pick.
What advertising is going to be comfortable being in the middle of this conversation?
I know.
I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, can't wait to hear.
Hi, I'm Sam Rhodes, one of the co-founders of LAFS, the London Arts Facilitation Society. If you're enjoying watching or listening to any of this content, we'd really like you to donate a little bit of cash to help us build access to all of this wonderful stuff for working class people from all over England. You can go to laughs.org.uk to donate as little as £1 a month to help us keep the lights on and help us make lovely art, podcasts, comedy specials and even professional wrestling for you at home. Laughs.org.uk. Donate today. Go on, do it for the laughs.
Can't believe that advertisement fits so well with the theme of the show.
Don't know how they do it. You know, that's marketing is a mystery. Marketing is a mystery.
For better people than us to decide. So, quickly, going back to the court case. Did you know anything about this book before reading it?
Well, I mean, it's I read it 20 years ago, right? About that at school.
Right,
But
okay.
the thing that I remembered about it is that it's about a courtroom. It's about a trial, and that is the way I think people talk about it. It's a book that's about this miscarriage of justice, this righteous lawyer defending someone who's in a really bad situation that they don't deserve to be in a very racist town, a very racist time. But that's 40 pages of the book, right?
Yeah. Oh, so this, pardon me for swearing, this fucking annoyed me because I seen the movie. Not that I've seen the movie, but I've seen clips of the movie like growing up and that, and in my adult life too. And I was like, this is going to be a great courtroom drama. I cannot wait. I was getting to about the middle of the book and I was going like, Scout Finch is talking about going back into fucking like the second grade and like being told not to read and write. And I'm like, when does it get to the courtroom drama?
But we've just been talking about this for 15 minutes, and what have we been talking about most of that time?
Yeah,
the courtroom bit, right? And that's
Yeah.
the bit that sticks in your head. And even though there's so much build up to it, and there's so much follow up to it afterwards, right? The repercussions for the townsfolk. That's the bit. That's the bit that sticks with you.
The townsfolk, his family, who he's left behind because he's went into prison. Unfortunately, spoilers again, he passes away. Doesn't get passes away. He gets murdered by the guards in the prison.
But that could also be kind of phrased as almost suicide by cop, right? Like, is he?
Aye, but again,
is he pushing that?
Suicide by cop, or the way they explained it was that he was climbing a 12-foot high fence with one arm, and I was like, it just sounds like he ran towards the wall to try and get out. Maybe he didn't even do that.
Didn't even do that, exactly.
So that was a bit upsetting as well.
But that's sort of, I mean, it makes it very clear the futility of Atticus Finch's work, right? Like he's trying to give this guy the best legal defense he can, but it doesn't matter because everything is stacked against him.
Yeah, and he was the best man for the job because, as I was reading, the judge appointed him. So Tom Robinson would have actually just got like a public defender, whereas the judge turned around and said like, this guy needs. The judge probably even knew that the guy wasn't guilty, but he's like put Atticus Finch on it because he really will stand up for the guy and do everything.
Well, Scout says that, right? Why don't we get rid of juries? And Atticus is like, well, we've got to have juries. You know, we've got to have juries. But it's kind of also about how when there is prejudice, when there's bigotry, it breaks things. And he's all Atticus like thinks the law is sacred and important, and in many ways it is. But when it's not followed through, it doesn't matter what's written on the bit of paper if the people enacting it don't give a shit.
Well, the law is important and it's true, but whenever it's enforced and dispensed by a jury of your peers who are also victim to the same social like problems that come through, like the racism, the classism, the misogyny, things like that there, it's like you can't win.
No. And there's secular violence too, right? Even within the white community that are all on the jury trial. How many of the people are only saying convict because they think they're gonna get attacked if they don't? You know, if they speak out in defense in the closed jury room of this guy who it seems is innocent. It pretty much is innocent. Probably is innocent.
Oh yeah.
I think my reading is you're meant to read him as innocent.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the fact that the jury was nearly a hung jury because of one man who actually attempted to kill him a week or a day earlier. And
he was part of there was an attempted lynching the night before the trial. Right?
Yeah, but that showed me that Atticus did a really good job of trying to defend and like explain the case and what was going on.
And I mean, I suppose the simple message from it is about the importance of people having to understand the humanity of others, right? Yeah. And it talks about how the lynch mob, they forget the humanity of the people they're attacking. That like the jury forgets the humanity of the man they're attacking, you know, and people stop being people and they start being, you know, images, right? You have to dehumanize something before you can kill it, right?
100%, yeah. And
what people say.
That's why, and that's stupid. Maybe was it in a book that I was reading this, or one of these books where they say like, oh, you don't give an animal a name before you slaughter it, because then there's no attachment. So like, yeah, they were dehumanizing him and debasing him, and then ran in with a mob mentality for Lynch to try and get him, because they thought they were handing out their own type of justice. But a brilliant book. Not going on to final verdicts yet, but I think it was a really, really good book.
Yeah, I mean it's very evocative, right, of its time, and I think by having the narrator being a child, you know, you do get that's kind of simplification of issues in a way that makes them stand out very clearly. I mean, it's the only book Harper Lee, you know, finished in her lifetime. She did have a second novel published, like based on like rejected notes, pretty much a rejected manuscript.
Was there not?
It was called "Go Set a Watchman."
Yeah. Sorry, it was just.
But so that was like her family got that put out while she was like in a nursing home. Yeah. Very old. It was like rejected at the time.
Apparently, the ending of it's very poor. As in, like the main body of the story is good, but then they had to finish it off, and it was like, no.
But yeah, I mean, it's also when you write something that's kind of perfect, it is like that second album pressure, right? She never got it finished. But also, I mean, this has continued to sell so well. Probably didn't need to do it. Didn't need to work again.
Yeah, pretty much. The only thing about there's two big things that happened, like two big crimes happen in the movie.
In the book.
In the book, where there's interaction between Tom Robinson's accused of sexually assaulting Mayella Ewell, and he's judged by a jury of his peers, and people nearly bring justice into their own hands, and they're like, you're doing the wrong thing here, you need to let this go through the courts, we'll appeal it and do all this here. But when it actually gets to the end, you've got the sheriff coming to visit Atticus Finch because his son and his daughter, so Jem and Scout, have been assaulted by what appears to be, I think it's Bob Ewell.
Yeah, it's
Bob Ewell
the guy who
Mayella's dad.
Yeah.
And he's like a menace to the society. So
because Atticus took his dignity, right? Is what they're saying. So everyone in the town basically knows now that he is he's a liar. He abuses
his own family. Yeah. And but yeah,
no one cares that he's a racist. They care that he's a child.
He beats his kids, because that is the worst thing I think he could ever do. But he gets He tries to attack Jem and Scout, luckily is wearing a giant ball of chicken wire in the form of a Thanksgiving ham.
Yep,
that she's been dressed up as.
Dressed up as, yeah.
Very convenient plot hole there. Just like, let's put her.
Yeah, I mean, she's attacked by a knife, but luckily she's wearing a knife.
Yeah, and the guy slashed, didn't stab Rookie. But what I'm trying to say, I suppose, is that at the end of it, the sheriff, I think, is a guy called Tate. Sheriff Tate was saying, like, you know, Atticus, he fell on his own knife, like a promise he did. And at the very end of the book, the big reveal is that Arthur Boo Radley is sitting in the corner like a ghost, like death personified, just hanging about there, so pale and just like, you know.
Because he never goes out in the sun.
Yeah, never let out in the sun. No, very socially awkward. The only words he says in the book is, "Will you walk me home?" to Scout. And I thought that was lovely. It was just like, you know, because it alludes quite heavily that Boo has killed this guy.
Oh, he's definitely done it.
He's definitely done it. Like, but and I noticed that Tate had a switchblade in his hand where he's explaining how Atticus Finch how Bob Ewell fell on his own knife, and he went, "Where'd you get that knife?" And he goes like, "I took it off a drunk guy in the town earlier." I was like, "Where did you get that knife?" He says, "I took it off Bob Ewell earlier." So that was important because the knife that Bob was found with was a kitchen knife. Mm-hmm. So if he was already in town, he wouldn't have had a kitchen knife. He would have had to have come from his house to do that, but he came from a pub drunk. So yeah, Boo has definitely like stabbed this guy, carried Jem back. But that's a case of taking your law into your own hands, but in a very justified manner.
Yeah, it's also self-defense. But he's saving some kids. Saving the neighborhood kids. But that isn't presented as a bad thing to do. But it's the same villain, right? It's the same guy being evil, mm-hmm. who's not thwarted before, but he is thwarted there.
Yeah, and it struck me at the point that Atticus still wanted to do the right thing. He was like, let's get this through the courts. Jem will always be considered that he was the murderer and all this here. And like, no, I have to defend him properly. And everyone's just going it's done.
Yeah.
We have already the story written.
But that's kind of his weakness, right? Is he believes he's got faith in the legal system, but the legal system is only as fair as the people that uphold it.
It's only fair.
It's it's not built for everyone. It's built for the people that run it to keep it ticking along.
Yeah, I suppose then he was trying to lead by example for his kids as well and say like this, you always have to do the right thing. You have to follow the law. The law will save you. The truth will set you free. All this here sort of stuff.
It's not true, is it?
No, definitely not.
And it's never been true.
Definitely, it definitely wasn't true in the case for Tom Robinson. So again, just final thoughts on the book. What do you think about rereading it again? And
it's good, isn't it? It's a good read. It's very exciting. It's very interesting. I mean, it's really moving. It's really sad. You know, I had to take when Tom Robinson is killed, murdered by the prison guard. You know, I had to sit down and have a little breather before I carried on with the book. Before I got to the end, there's a lot more of it that I hadn't remembered being there. You know, in my head, it's about a kid watching a courtroom.
Yeah.
But so much more of it is world building, town building, and sort of building these intricate relationships between different people in the town. A lot of them are pretty bad people, and bad in different ways, you know, and cruel in different ways, and snobbery and classism and racism and self-importance and all of these things colliding and treating, I suppose, like in The Great Gatsby, it's people with a little bit of power treating people who have basically none as utterly disposable, and that's what happens
here. Same as Wuthering Shites.
Exactly. I suppose that's a theme with a lot of great literature, right? Is the way in which people are unkind to those around them and
power corrupts.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant book, fantastic. I really enjoyed it. One of the last ones haven't read was Wuthering Heights. This was like daylight compared to night in like how much I enjoyed it.
Also has incest in as well, though, which
yeah, true. Yep. There's a theme, but again, me reading it now, I can see a bit of the subtext and actually what's going on in this. But I think
because you're not a child.
No, I'm not a child, but I've I've had a bit of a life.
And you were one once, right?
Yeah. One giant baby. But it was like, I think it's just very tough to hand this here to a schoolroom and say like, right, today we're going to read this and you're going to understand everything. But yeah, fantastic. Brilliant book. Probably would read again, or at least watch the movie.
Nice. Well, let's not read it again for the book club. We've done it now. Done it for the book club.
Next year, we're going back to this. But
what I wanted to do though before we finished was some self-promotion. I said it at the start. It's a callback. This has been quite a serious book actually. So not so much the joyful, raucous comedy podcast. We kind of marketed it as not much nonsense in this episode at all.
Serious, yeah.
But I'm doing a comedy show. This is Edinburgh and Camden Fringes. It's called Bold Personality Disorder. Please do look that up and attend. I'm not sure exactly what date this episode is going out, so I'll do this again in the next one. But please do come and see me being funny and weird for an hour. It's about having no hair and bad mental health. There's an interactive Bold-themed quiz and some songs. That was my self-promotion bit. I've also got a blog, triumphofthenow.com. Look it up. Martin's on social media. What are your handles?
It's pretty much Marty Dozer everywhere.
With a Z, not an S, right?
With a Z, yeah. Not a Z, yeah, a Z. You're found at Scott Manley Hadley.
I'm Scott Manley Hadley, wherever I can be found.
If you're seeing this on Instagram, we're probably tagged in the videos. Just give us a wee follow. Both of us can probably be seen around London most of the time doing open mic gigs.
Mm-hmm. Or just hanging out.
Hanging out, a little bit of stand-up. Don't be afraid to say come hi, or come and say hi.
Exactly. And this show is produced by... Are we meant to say LAFS or LAFS? Which way around are we meant to do it?
I would say LAFS, but the London Arts Facilitation Society, who have a brilliant setup here and have made the process of making a podcast so easy and willing to take on weird and wonderful, strange ideas such as the Big Bald Book Club.
And others. Check those out too.
Yes.
Great. We've done some promo.
That's it. Next time. See you later.
Sweet dreams.
It's the Big Bald Book Club. We're gonna read some books. Listen to the Big Bald Book Club. If you wanna see more, if you wanna see more smarter about books and that.